Welcome back to my Project 13. Today, T-Mobile released 4 brand new devices, all priced under $200. So I went into one of my local T-Mobile stores so I could play with each of these devices. For under 200 bucks, man, I was pretty pleased with what they put out. I mean, they didn't have hardcore high specs on these devices, but you're talking about 140, 180, 190. That was the price range of all 4 of these devices. And when you look at that price and you look at the specs, I think they were equally matched for what these devices were. So I'm going to go into one of the first devices here in GSM Arena, one of my favorite websites as far as um, specs goes for devices. The HD Desire 626S. They do have an international version of this device, which is the HTC Desire 626. It doesn't have the S. If you purchase that device, I know you can get it through Amazon, but it's not going to have a warranty here in the US. So this device, you'll get 4G LTE. It is the 626S. Now, the two cons right off the bat about this, right off the bat for this device, it kind of reminded me of my Asus Zenfone 2. It didn't have a good volume level. It was a pretty low sounding device, and the screen brightness wasn't very high. Not very low, but it was pretty low considering if you wanted to compare it to its brother and sister, the M8, the M7, and the M9. As far as recent devices, the Asus Zenfone 2 was pretty much the same way, so I kind of felt like I was playing with that device again, but it was a little louder, and the quality was there, and the quality of the screen, sharp, vivid, crisp 720p resolution. Again, the brightness wasn't that bright, so that was probably the two, but I'm going to give you the price for this. If I can remember correctly, it was $189. That's what you're paying. That's $100 less, $110 less than what I paid for my Asus Zenfone 2. I can take that sacrifice for that price. I'm cool with that. So, capacitive touchscreen, 5-inch device, 720 by 1280, 294 ppi pixel density, HTC Sense 7 UI. It does have Lollipop, Qualcomm Snapdragon 210, quad core 1.1 gigahertz, Adreno 304. Those numbers sound low, but I'm going to tell you, I played with it. It was snappy. It was quick. I went into a few web pages, went into YouTube, played some videos. I didn't have any issues. It wasn't super, super fast, but again, remember what you're paying. About $190. I'd be happy with this device. Does come with a micro SD slot, up to 32 gigs of extra storage, 8 gigabytes on board, 1 gig of RAM, 8 megapixel back camera, 2 megapixel front camera. Video playback, 720p, 30 frames per second. Okay, now, 2000 milliamp battery, but with that kind of resolution, and most likely this device is going to be used by your average user, not like a huge multitasker, probably not a somebody who's going to play a lot of games. I think the battery will be sufficient for what the device is and what it offers, and with that resolution being as low at 720 instead of 1080, the battery should be just fine. Again, that's a 2000 milliamp battery. So as you can see on my device here, you can see the specs. So 4G LTE. I'm going to go out of here and I'm going to go into the next device. And I'm going to bring up the Samsung Galaxy Grand Prime. This is a 5-inch device, 540 by 960. Now you can see there's the sacrifice at 220 ppi pixel density. It is a TFT capacitive touchscreen. It says it's a 4.4.4, but actually the device I was playing with had Lollipop. So I think you have to take it out of the box and then upgrade it. But it did have Lollipop, Qualcomm Snapdragon 410, quad core 1.2 gigahertz, Cortex A53, Adreno 306. It does come with expandable storage as well, up to 64 gigs, 8 gigs on board, 1 gig of RAM, 8 megapixel camera on the back, 5 megapixel wide angle camera on the front, 1080p video playback at 30 frames per second. Now this device comes with a 2600 milliamp battery, and especially with this res on here at 540 by 960, that battery should last you all day long and probably plus some. Okay, remember, these devices are going to be devices for like a backup device, an emergency device, a student device, or just because you're intrigued like I am, you pick one up just to have one and do a review on it. But somebody who's just getting away from a flip phone for the first time, they want a first starter type device. These devices are going to be killer for them because they're not going to have to pay a whole lot of money. I mean, these are devices you basically pull out of your wallet and pay for straight across. And I wouldn't make payments on that, especially under 200 bucks. This device, as well as like the HTC, is 180 or 189. So I couldn't remember the exact pricing, but it's right around there, still under 200 bucks. So we're going to go out of there and let's go into the next device. And we're going to go into a Kyocera phone. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Kyocera Hydro Wave. This too is a 5-inch display. It has a 2300 milliamp battery. It's got an IPS LCD screen, resolution of 540 by 960, 1.2 gigahertz Qualcomm Snapdragon 410 quad core. Now, what I like about here, if you see in the memory, it's got 8 gigs of internal storage, raw hardware. Then it tells you after, because you know the apps that are on there and everything that's on there. Well, by the time all that's accounted for, it actually tells you have 3 gigs of internal storage available to the user. 1 gig of RAM. So that's nice to know. It's nice that they at least told you what you're going to really get. So put in that SD card and throw everything over there so you don't take up everything inside the device, the internal storage. So let's see if there's anything else on here. It is LTE 4G. There's the micro SD up to 32 gigs. So you can expand that. That's nice. I think I mentioned the 5 megapixel front facing, which I'm sure that will be a 2 megapixel. Actually, that's a 5 megapixel rear, 2 front. Sorry about that. So, I think out of all the 4, once I'm done here, this is probably the one that I would least pick up. Still would be great for like one of your kids, you know, just starting out to get them their first phone. This is a $130 device. So, great starter phone. Great starter phone. So, for me, though, I think if I had to choose between the 4, I still have one more device to get to. I would probably, because I've never had an HTC device, I would probably pick up the HTC device. This phone right here, though, it's affordable, waterproof, rugged. It is waterproof, which is nice. So for you folks that like to take pictures or talk in the rain, here you go. For 130 bucks or 139, whatever it was, you can't beat that. So check out that device if you're into waterproof devices. So the last device we're going to go to is the little brother of the Samsung Galaxy Grand Prime. This is the Samsung Galaxy Core Prime. This is the smaller guy at 4.5-inch device, 480 by 800, 207 ppi pixel density. Oh, that loaded up there. It does have upgradable to Lollipop. It had Lollipop while I was there playing with it. So I think that you got to take it out of the box and again upgrade that. Qualcomm Snapdragon 410, quad core 1.2 gigahertz, Cortex A53, Adreno 306, expandable micro SD card up to 64 gigs, which is nice. 8 gigs on board, 1 gig of RAM. 5 megapixel rear, 2 megapixel front facing cameras, and 720 video playbacks, 30 frames per second. And let's go down here, and that's a 2000 milliamp battery. Again, this battery should be sufficient for what the hardware is and what this device is giving you. It's not going to drain. As far, I mean, when you talk about the resolution, you're talking about what's under the hood here. This is not going to suck up your battery, and I don't think you're going to be doing some hardcore gaming. You might be watching a couple YouTube videos, whatever, a little web browsing. So you're going to be fine. These devices and I think this one was 140 bucks. So when you again, I keep reiterating the price and specs because it's very important that you understand for what you're going to get. I think will be very sufficient for what you're paying. So there's all the devices. I think out of all four, I would take the HTC first, 666 or S, and then second, I would go for the Galaxy Grand Prime. Those are probably the two top ones. Probably HTC number one. So leave a response and let me know if any of these devices interest you. Again, I think I might pick one of them up and do a review on it. I'm going to go in there tomorrow. So let me know if this is something you're into as far as one of these devices, or if you already have one of these devices and you went and picked one up today and what you think of them. So I wanted to share this information, especially if you're with T-Mobile and you're looking for a budget device that you're not going to have to pay a lot of money for. Hey, call them up, go into a store and check them out, play with them. The cameras and all of these devices were sufficient. They weren't the best cameras, but as far as the HTC and the Grand Prime, really decent pictures. So I was pretty satisfied with a lot of the responsiveness that I got from these devices for what they what they are and what they can give you the user. So I think you'll be pretty happy for the little bit of money you're going to spend on these devices, what you're going to get. Leave a thumbs up, a thumbs down. My Project 13, God bless. I hope you enjoy it.